You felt the silence stretch longer than usual, like something unspoken between you has started to ache. But what you don't see, what your soul already knows, is that when he shut the door to his heart, the angels whispered your name into the space he tried to close off. They are the witnesses of a love he couldn't articulate, a feeling too immense to contain, so he buried it. But silence doesn't erase energy. And in the silence, your presence remained, soft, steady, unforgettable. The angels say, when he tried to forget, heaven reminded him. You were sent not to disrupt his life, but to awaken it. To be the mirror of what he feared and the light of what he deeply desired. You didn't knock. You didn't beg. You didn't chase. And yet, your soul left fingerprints on the walls of his being. He's starting to hear the echoes now. In the way his breath quickens at your name, in the way his chest tightens when he tries to move on. The angels show me, the lock he once turned is rusting, and his heart is opening, not with a grand gesture, but in small sacred cracks. He's beginning to remember the way you made him feel, safe, seen, shaken. And now, something ancient is stirring within him. A calling to return to the one place he never meant to leave, the memory of you. And as this unfolds, heaven speaks. Not loudly, but clearly. For the Lord searches every heart and understands every desire and every thought. If you seek him, he will be found by you. 1 Chronicles 28 verse 9. You may think his distance is about you. But the angels are clear, it never was. There are rooms in his heart that haven't seen light in years. Places sealed by shame, abandonment, promises broken in childhood, and vows he made to himself, that no one would ever get close enough to hurt him again. The angels reveal, he doesn't fear you. He fears what loving you might ask him to face. You represent something he secretly prayed for but never believed he deserved. And that's why he runs. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he feels too much, and doesn't know where to place it. He watches you with both reverence and fear. Your presence stirs a longing that feels sacred, but also dangerous. He remembers the moment your eyes met, not just the details, but the feeling. The soul-stirring, heart-opening recognition that whispered, she could be the one. And that scared him. The angels say, when a wounded soul meets healing hands, the first reaction isn't gratitude, it's resistance. That's what you're witnessing now. His coldness. His silence. His confusion. They aren't signs of rejection, but rather a soul quaking at the brink of its own healing. Hold compassion in your heart, not expectation. Because even now, behind all the defenses, he's still listening for your voice in the quiet. There's something sacred about the way you love, but loving deeply doesn't mean losing yourself. The angels lean in now and say, you are not here to save him. You are here to remain whole while he learns to rise. Sometimes, in the ache of waiting, we forget that we are the answer to our own prayers. That your radiance was never meant to dim in the shadows of someone else. You've given, in silence, in hope, in surrender. And yet, the journey back to yourself begins now. He may not be ready to meet you in your entirety. But that doesn't mean you shrink. It means you stand, in grace, in beauty, in boundaries. Drink your water. Take your walks. Light your candles. Talk to your angels. You are not just a love story, you are a soul with a mission. If he comes back, let him find you rooted, nourished, lit from within. Because your softness is not weakness, it is wisdom in motion. And you deserve to be loved without having to explain your worth. The angels remind you, don't burn your wings trying to carry someone who has not yet decided to fly. Stay radiant. The right soul won't be frightened by your light, they'll be guided by it. You didn't come into his life to entertain his loneliness, you came to expose it. The angels say, your light didn't just attract him, it revealed him. There's something about you, the way you love without losing your center, the way your presence feels like truth, that forced him to look inward. And he didn't like all that he saw. Not because you judged him, but because your soul carried a mirror, and when he looked at you, he saw all the parts of himself he had abandoned. You reflect the man he could be if he let his soul breathe. And that kind of reflection is rarely easy to face. He tries to dismiss you, to downplay the pull. But in the quiet, he remembers. The way your laughter softened him. The way your eyes didn't ask for performance. The way your silence spoke safety. And each time he closes the door on you, he ends up running into himself. You never had to force your way into his world. You simply existed, and that was enough to change everything. So don't doubt your power. Don't question your impact. Because even if he never says it out loud, he knows that something eternal looked back at him through your gaze. And nothing has been the same since. He's starting to feel things he can't explain. And it frightens him. The angels say, a soul that's been asleep for too long will tremble when it starts to wake. You've stirred something ancient in him, something that doesn't speak in logic, but in longing. At night, he replays your words. In daylight, he catches himself wondering what you'd say, what you'd think, if you were beside him. He doesn't tell anyone. But your memory walks beside him in moments that should have belonged to someone else. It's in the silence between songs. In the pause before sleep. In the unexpected swell of emotion when he thinks he's forgotten you. But he hasn't. He never did. The angels are showing you this. His heart is opening slowly, like a flower that has never known sunlight. He's recognizing your worth not through desire, but through reverence. And this is the beginning. Because true awakening doesn't come in lightning bolts. It arrives softly, through the ache of missing what once felt like home. Through the realization that nothing else feels as right as your presence did. Your light didn't blind him. It baptized him. And now, he is learning how to live with open eyes. Let him awaken in his own time. But no, it was your love that initiated the rise. You felt it, the pull, the retreat, the pull again. As if he's orbiting you but can't seem to land. The angels whisper, when the soul is afraid of what it desires, it dances with distance. He runs not because he doesn't care, but because caring this much feels like surrendering control. Every time he gets close, something inside him panics. The part that learned love equals loss or that intimacy always ends in goodbye. You are not imagining this pattern. His return is not manipulation. It's confusion wrapped in craving. Each time he leaves, he hopes the feeling will fade. Each time he comes back, he realizes it won't. The angels reveal, he is being unraveled. And your presence is the thread. Your name rises in his thoughts when he least expects it. A scent, a phrase, a dream. And there you are, a constant, even in his chaos. This resistance is part of his initiation. A soul learning to release the armor it built to survive. Let the dance happen. But don't lose yourself in it. You are not the chaser. You are the flame. And the flame does not follow, it burns steadily, allowing what's meant to come to draw near in its own time. Your love didn't arrive as a lesson. It arrived as a balm. The angels say, your presence healed wounds that even he forgot he had. He may never be able to articulate it, how your voice softened something deep within him, how your laughter brought him back to himself. But his body remembers. His soul remembers. You loved him without trying to change him. You saw him without demanding he perform. And that, my dear, is what shook him to his very core. For most of his life, love came with conditions. With expectations. With barriers. And then came you, gentle, radiant, unprotected. And without needing to say much, you reminded him, there's still such a thing as softness. There's still such a thing as sacredness. The angels reveal, he carries your energy like a prayer under his breath, unnoticed by others, but guiding him all the same. Even now, when you're apart, your love continues to influence him. Quietly, tenderly, like rain softening stone. Don't underestimate what your love has accomplished. Even if you can't see the changes, even if he conceals the tenderness, the healing has begun. Because true love doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be real. And yours was. And that truth is rewriting everything he believed he knew about love. This was never just about two individuals. This was a soul contract. The angels say, you were not set on his path. You chose it long before this lifetime. There's a reason you feel this so deeply. A reason his silence still resonates. A reason your spirit knows this story isn't over, even when the world urges you to let go. Because this transcends memory. This is divine alignment. He may be unaware of the sacred journey unfolding, but heaven is not. Every meeting, every goodbye, every ebb and flow. It was all written. And now, something is changing. A veil is lifting. He's starting to sense the invisible hands guiding him toward the truth he's been avoiding. The angels are walking beside him, whispering what his mind still resists but his soul already knows. You were given love in its purest form. Will you open the door this time? And they speak to you too, hold steady. Divine timing is not delay. It is preparation. Your role is not to chase. Your role is to trust. The plan was never random. You are being led. And so is he. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3 verse 6. There's a trembling in his chest when he thinks of you. Not because of doubt, but because he's never known love that felt like truth. The angels whisper, he is learning that real intimacy requires being seen, and he's terrified of being seen and not being loved. His whole life, he's been armor. Confidence as camouflage. Silence as safety. But your presence dismantled that. You didn't ask for access. Your soul simply stood there, unwavering, and everything he used to hide behind began to fall away. That's why he pulled back. That's why he disappeared. Not because he stopped feeling, but because the feeling demanded he show up in ways he never had to before. He's not afraid of you. He's afraid of what you see when you look at him. Afraid that the man behind the mask won't be enough. But even now, in his hiding, he aches for you. He replays your conversations. He imagines your reactions. He writes messages and never sends them. The angels say, he is closest to you when he believes he's farthest. This is the breaking point, where the soul must choose between self-preservation and surrender. And though it may take time, the walls are weakening. Because no matter how hard he tries, he can't forget how safe it felt to be seen by you. It doesn't always end in union, but it always ends in revelation. The angels say, love that awakens the soul never leaves it the same. You were never here to force the story. You were here to embody the truth of it. He may never say the words. He may never choose you in the way you once imagined. But look at what this love has already done. It cracked him open. It called him forward. And it reminded you that your ability to love is not a weakness. It is a sacred power. The angels want you to know, your worth is not determined by how someone reciprocates your love, but by the purity of the love you offered. What is meant for you will never pass you by. Not because you chase it, but because divine timing is never late. If he returns, let it be out of choice, not out of pressure. And if he doesn't, let that be sacred too. Because some love stories aren't about staying, they are about awakening. And in awakening another, you awakened yourself. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. This was your time to love. Your time to see. Your time to remember who you are.